New information about Ethan Crumbley's behavior leading up to the Oxford High School shooting makes things look even worse for Ethan's parents and school administration. Ethan waives his right to a preliminary hearing, and his parents fight for lower bail. Hey everybody, welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I'm Christy Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's just one of those days. Lots of research to do, lots of work to do, lots of stuff going on. What can I say?
Right?
Also, finally made a trip out to go to get a Diet Cherry Limeade at Sonic, So
Well,
life is grand.
I know that's your favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, the whole time Mars has been home, we have not been out to get a Diet Cherry Limeade. So we figured
I
we better
cannot
get on
believe
it.
it. I can't believe she's tolerated that.
I know. In the summer, I think we got one like every day for months.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're fine. That's all.
Well, good. Well, I have good news. I don't have COVID.
Yes, thank God.
Yay. Glad for that. Got the tests, but
Yes.
feeling a little better tonight. Starting to kind of rally here. Rhonda's about 2 days behind me, so she's sort of on the opposite end, not rallying, but we're coming through it, It's so weird that doctors will just tell you, "Oh, well, you just have a virus, just rest for a few days and drink water." But what if it's the virus? Then it's a huge thing. So it's either the virus or it's a virus. There's like nothing in between. My son said, "Well, did the test show what it might be?" I said, "No."
That's not how this works at all.
They don't care.
No.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If it's not the virus, then you're fine.
No. Then
It's
fudge
just a
off.
weird,
You're fine.
it's just a weird place we're in, because I'm very prone to viruses because of my primary immune deficiency. And so before COVID, I didn't really do much about viruses. If I knew it was just a virus, I didn't even go to the doctor, nothing. I'm like, yeah, it was a virus. It's, unless
get
I
over it at home. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm like, oh shit, it's a virus,
I know.
So weird. Just living in crazy land.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling a little better.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's not the vid. Yeah.
Ugh, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get started with our first segment of the show, which is racial injustice. So let me kick us over to that.
So tonight's racial injustice segment is something that happened on Saturday, and we're still learning whether this is a racial injustice case or not. I'm going to just lay out some information for you guys and let you be the judge, and I think we'll see this play out down the road as well. You may have already seen some video and stuff about this, particularly on TikTok. There is a very graphic video out there. We aren't going to show it. We've already been in trouble with TikTok and don't want to be in trouble with YouTube for graphic content. So we're not going to show it, but I will provide a link in the show description. So if you'd like to go watch it, you're welcome to. Just know that there is the deceased victim is in the video, and that's why I decided not to share it. But at any rate, this incident happened on Saturday afternoon. This happened in North Carolina in Fayetteville. And there's basically two going stories. The first of which is that an adult man ran into traffic and jumped on a moving vehicle and pulled the windshield wiper off of the vehicle and started beating the windshield with it and shattered the windshield. At that point, the driver of the vehicle, At that point, the driver of the vehicle shot the male subject and notified 911. The male subject was pronounced dead on the scene. This is what was said initially
What?
by the Fayetteville police. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, we'll
Sorry.
get there.
None of this is
No, it
I
doesn't.
haven't read this whole story, so none of this is tracking for me.
This is what the shooter said happened. The man that was shot's name is Jason Walker. He was 37, a black male. He was shot by a man who is a deputy. He was an off duty deputy at the time of the shooting.
Mm.
And this was just his vehicle, right? And his wife and daughter were inside. So that is what he says happened. There are witnesses saying that is not at all what happened. Witnesses are saying that the victim was run over by the driver of the pickup. He was driving a red Ford F-150.
Of course.
And the man driving is Lieutenant Hash. Lieutenant Hash, we finally know this now, who he has been placed on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. Of course, this is what we do, right? Anyway. So victims are saying that Jason was just trying to cross the street and that Hash ran him over. And then Jason stood up and tried to stagger away, and he jumped out of his truck and shot him in the back
Oh my
multiple
God.
times. Witnesses are saying they heard 4 shots. The officer or the family is saying that Jason was shot in the back 2 times.
But he could have missed
At
twice.
this point, one of the witnesses, Elizabeth Ricks, witnessed this, and she and her husband immediately came to the scene to offer aid. She is a trauma nurse's aide, and so she has some, training, and so she immediately went to the aid of the victim. There's a lot of things about this that are really disturbing, besides the fact that his account and the account that the witnesses are giving are very different. Now, there is one witness, according to the police, there is a witness who said that they never saw him hit the victim. If you go look at the video, the victim looks like he's partially under the truck on the driver's side. And he looks, his body looks like maybe he's been hit. Like, it's hard for me to look at that and think he wasn't. Of course, we need to see what the autopsy says. And frankly, I think his family better get an independent autopsy. But at any rate, that's so there's a lot of varying things. So the police chief says that his story checks out because the windshield wiper was torn off and the window is broken in a few places. Now, he said initially his windshield was shattered. That's not really true. But
How would you
supposedly,
shatter a windshield with a windshield wiper?
I can't imagine how you could do that. I really
No.
cannot. I really cannot. I can't imagine how a windshield wiper is just a little tin object would have the force needed to shatter a windshield. I don't know.
It
I asked
wouldn't.
my husband if he thought it was possible because he's a car guy, and he said maybe if you were really swinging hard. But part of the reason that people are having a tough time with this story is so Hash says that this guy ran out in front of him and so he stopped. There's no skid marks in the road. There's no indication that he came to a halt. That's a 50-mile-an-hour road.
Oh.
45 to 50. That's what I'm reading from people, is that people go 45 to 50 on that road. So if he ran out in front of him, he would have had to slam on his brakes to not hit him. He
Right.
says he ran out in front of him, so he stopped the car. Well, this was the second thing he said. First, he said he jumped onto his moving car. Then he said, no, he stopped, and then he jumped on his car. I don't know about you,
What?
but I can't imagine anyone being able to leap onto a car that's going 45 miles an hour.
No. And a Ford F-150, that's a tall truck.
That's a tall truck.
I
Yeah,
couldn't leap up on there if it wasn't moving. Are you freaking kidding me?
I
I mean,
know.
obviously the victim's probably quite a bit taller, but still, like, that's not an easy thing to
Mhm.
do. And a moving vehicle? No.
Yeah.
No.
So the stories just they don't add up, they don't track. And then, like I said, there are witnesses saying that none of those things happened. He never jumped up on his vehicle. He hit him and then got out of his truck and shot him. And that's
Ugh.
what
Well, and
happened.
okay, even if the jumping on the vehicle
Mhm.
and the windshield wiper thing happened, that was a reason to shoot and kill him? No, it was not.
What makes Jeff Hash? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell
What
you
gives
what, he's a
him
cop, that's what.
Mhm.
That's what makes him think that's okay.
The video is very frustrating and disturbing because in the video, he's standing in front of the open door, the driver's side door. Down back by the back tire, we have our victim on the ground bleeding out. We have this woman on the ground trying to administer aid to him, and we have him chatting on the phone with his boss. He made
Didn't render aid.
absolutely no effort to render aid. He did nothing. Nothing. He
This guy
did
needs to go
manage
straight
to
directly to jail.
get a towel to her and told on the 911 call he did say that yeah, we're plugging the holes now. There was no we.
Well, and
And
plugging the
Elizabeth
holes.
says, yeah, and Elizabeth says that she asked him repeatedly where he shot him so that she could try to staunch the bleeding, and he wouldn't tell her. He treated her like she shouldn't be there initially. Initially,
Oh,
he
well, of
said something
course.
along the lines of move along. But when he called 911, he told them he was dead. He didn't check him, he didn't go near him. He just said, "Oh, yeah, he's dead. He's already dead." And then, of course, this woman comes to his aid and says, "He's not dead. He has a pulse." "Oh, okay. I guess he's not dead. Yeah, we're plugging the holes now." It's really disturbing. The 911 call
Doesn't
is just
even
as disturbing.
talk about him like he's a real person.
No. Oh, no. He's just kind of standing there. He talks on the phone the whole time until the police get there. The police also do nothing to offer aid. And they all said it's because there was already a medical professional there offering aid. Well, kind of, but they
She's
didn't.
just a bystander
Again,
trying desperately to help. Oh my
they did
god.
not act like there was a
Oh.
human being dying on the ground at all. At all.
Oh,
At one point, the
this is awful.
officer or the lieutenant of the hash says on the phone, "Yeah, they're hostile. They're being hostile towards me here." And there's a man standing there that says, "That is not true. Don't you effing say that." It's like hostile. Someone is dying.
You just killed someone in front of these people, you
And he's
dumb
just
fucker. Oh my
completely
god.
blasé about it. It is so awful. Anyway, so of course, unfortunately, Jason does die. And,
God.
and the EMTs take over at whatever point. And then Elizabeth yells at him, kind of goes after him, for what she just saw him do.
Yeah,
And the police really tell her off and send her back to her car and act like she's just really the jerk. When the police get there, they just stand around and chat with him. And they
of
start getting
course.
a few victim statements. But again, there is literally a man bleeding out next to them on the ground that they are paying absolutely no mind to at all. It's like
Racist
there's not even a
assholes.
person there. So
Ugh.
they do not disarm him. They don't disarm him.
They
He
don't
just
take his gun?
shot a person and they don't even disarm him. He's walking around with his gun holstered on his hip the whole time.
Oh my god.
Like, how was anyone else safe there? You
No
know?
one is.
No. So now that he's on administrative leave and the police are really being forced to have to do something, and now the investigation has been moved out of their hands and into the hands of the state.
Thank
Now
God.
they're saying, and the FBI looks like is like involved on the periphery as well, but now they're saying that they do have his weapon in custody. It's not his police weapon. I think. The first article I read said it was. The second two articles I read said it wasn't. So I don't know. I can't say definitively.
Sure.
We don't know.
Okay.
But they do have that weapon in
Well,
custody now.
did this police officer have a history with Jason? Did he know
Not
him?
that I know of. Not that I know of, but this is very preliminary. There's a lot we don't know. And so there's a lot we can't really say yet. I also don't know what his history is. I tried to find that today, with brutality or with Black people.
Yeah, like, what
Don't
kinda
know.
cop is he?
Don't know.
A
Can't
shit one,
find
that's
it.
what. I'm pretty sure we can tell.
Yeah.
And he had his family in the car with him
Mm-hmm.
when this happened?
Mm-hmm. And this is a
My
picture of
god.
both of them. He did, and that's one of the things he yelled back at Elizabeth. I'm just keeping my family safe, ma'am. I'm just keeping my family safe, ma'am. Safe? From what? Even if, even if what he says is true, and that's pretty sketch, but even if it was
Yeah,
true, why did Jason Walker need to die? Why?
didn't. Definitely did
Why?
not. But this is what cops do now. If someone does something they don't like, they just kill them,
They just
especially if
killed
they're
him.
Black.
Yeah,
Like, this is apparently their training now. Like,
this is getting to be absolutely outrageous. And there is another hate crime that has just happened in Fayetteville. And we'll cover that in another episode. But there's a big problem happening right in this city right now. So that's basically what we know right now. Again, I will link the video. You guys are welcome to go and watch it if you want to. If you don't, I understand that. But you can, you can make your own assumptions or come to your own conclusions from it. And again, we'll keep a really close eye on this playing out. There have been protests in Fayetteville every night since this happened. They have been peaceful. But people are demanding that the police really investigate this and do something.
yeah, this guy doesn't need to be on administrative leave. He needs to be in jail. Why has he not been arrested?
Why has he not been arrested? And the way they handled it, the way they handled it, the way they just didn't, you know, didn't do anything to secure him when they got here,
No, and didn't
when the
do
police
anything to
arrived
render
there.
aid to Jason?
Yeah,
My god.
yeah, yeah. And again, there are witnesses saying that Hash did hit him with their truck. Now, one of the things that the
Well, I
police
mean,
chief is saying,
an autopsy will show if he was hit by the
true,
vehicle.
the police chief is saying that the truck's computer did not record any impact, and so they just don't think that that's true. She also says we have no witnesses that anyone was hit by his truck. Excuse me, but Elizabeth Ricks is a witness. She was there, so was her husband, and they're both saying that he was hit by the truck, and they're just not including them as witnesses.
What in the
But
hell?
also, Elizabeth and her husband are receiving death threats and are feeling very unsafe. Elizabeth's been super outspoken. She shared her video immediately and shared the story. She went to the march. She's been to the protests and she has spoken at them. She's talked to some reporters. Like, she's not pulling any punches. She's telling her story.
Good
She
for
is
her,
so mad about this and how you know, she believes that she just watched someone be murdered right in front of her. And
right?
that's what she saw. That's her, experience. And yeah, she and her husband are seriously in danger of their lives and or feeling like their lives are in danger at this point.
Well, they need to ask the FBI to help them and protect
They
them
do. They do, for
because I don't
sure.
think they can trust
But it kills
anybody
me
else.
that the police are saying, yeah, no one saw that.
Except for these 2 witnesses right here.
Except for people who did. So what does that mean? Yeah.
Well, but, they're screwed because this video is all over the world now,
Mhm.
and they can say whatever they want, but it's on video,
The way
you
he just
know?
casually stands there chatting on his phone while
What an
she is
asshole.
desperately scrambling on the ground to try to save this guy's life. It's unbelievable.
Oh,
It's as
god.
if there is not a human being at his feet dying, because to
And
him,
he just
apparently, there's not.
shot. My
Mhm.
god.
So that's it. That was a lot longer than a brief segment, but we wanted to get this story out this week. It's very important at this point. You have to
Definitely.
hear about it. So
We will cover again when we have more definitive information too.
yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on this one. So, Christy, I'm going to turn the mic back over to you for our main case.
Yes, so our main case tonight is an update on The Ethan Crumbley and his parents' legal situation. Ethan Crumbley, you probably know,
Mhm.
is accused of a school shooting at Monroe High School. And this was a couple of months ago. And a lot of things have happened in this case. So, Ethan Crumbley's parents are currently in jail, charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. You'll probably remember that they ran
Mhm.
when the police were looking for them, and the police had to, they took a day to find them. They did try to run. Of course, they abandoned their 15-year-old son who had just,
Mhm.
been arrested for a school shooting. Don't even get me started on what kind of trash people these people are.
Yeah.
Right now, their big fight is to try to get their bond reduced so that they can get out.
Mhm.
And the judge is not having it. And they're right now being held on $500,000 bonds each.
Mhm.
And they've tried 2 or 3 times now to get their bond reduced. And the judge is like, dude, you ran. We are not letting you out.
Mhm.
Also, the prosecutor keeps coming forward with more and more information that is really beyond sickening and
Mhm.
shocking, and just more reason to keep these fools in jail.
Totally.
So
Totally.
there's a big lawsuit right now that is happening. This is a lawsuit on behalf of the families of the 4 children who were killed
Yeah.
in this school shooting. And uh oh, sorry. My news story just changed pages to a different news story. That's not what I was looking for. There we go. Um, so because basically the school screwed up big time. The
Yeah.
parents have screwed up, the school has screwed up. There were so many opportunities for this to have not happened at all, and
Mhm.
that was not the case
No.
in any way. So here's some things we didn't know had happened with Ethan Crumbley. Uh, a couple of weeks before the shooting, he brought a bird's head in a jar to school
Mhm.
and left it in the boys' bathroom. On the day before the school shooting, he brought bullets to class. Now
Yeah,
we
the day
knew,
his mother texted him and told
yeah,
him, "You need to learn how to not get caught."
yes,
Yeah.
that day, yes. And that was also the day that his teacher caught him researching ammunition on his phone.
Mhm.
But he literally brought physical bullets into the classroom.
Yeah.
Um, what? Okay,
Why
so we
was this
know,
kid at school at all?
right, why was this kid at school at all? Because it turns out that things have been going wrong for Ethan for a while.
Mhm.
Um, at one point, there are some allegations that Ethan videotaped himself torturing animals at home, and that he texted his mom multiple times about ghosts and demons in their house.
Mhm.
Several indications that he was actually hallucinating.
Mhm.
He made Molotov cocktails at home.
Mhm.
He also drew a sketch of himself shooting up his school in a journal. And he also texted a friend, "It's time to shoot up a school, JK."
Mhm.
So these are all things that had been going on prior to the shooting. These are
Yeah.
things that his parents knew about,
Mhm.
and they were not assisting him in seeking mental health help. We're not
Mhm.
concerned about his behavior or the things going on with him.
No,
Didn't really
instead, they
visit
were
him.
buying him a gun.
Yeah, instead what they did was buy him a gun. And I mean, we know on the day of the shooting that they were called in because
Mhm.
he, had drawn and written some very disturbing things on his math homework. And that here's something I didn't know. Did you know that that school actually has a safety officer?
Yeah.
And that they did not include the safety officer in the conversation with Ethan and his parents
The
about,
person who would have should have searched his backpack wasn't
right,
included in the meeting.
was not included in the meeting.
Mhm.
So these are all things coming to light. There's a lot going on here about what was going on with Ethan leading up to this. There are
Mhm.
so many indications here that
Mhm.
this school shooting could have been prevented
Mhm.
by Ethan's parents and also by Ethan's school.
Definitely.
It
Ethan also had, apparently had a deep, fascination with Nazis
right?
and had purchased some piece of Nazi paraphernalia off of the internet that he was displaying in his bedroom. They found a notebook that had a bunch of Nazi symbols drawn in it, and then on the next page was a grocery list. Like,
Yeah.
just a family notebook apparently that people were using, and he's drawing all this stuff, and his parents are just
Just
letting all
ignoring
these red
all of
flags
it.
fly. Yeah.
Ignoring all of it. They just didn't give a shit. Well, didn't it come out that his mother was having an affair during this time?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so her attention was definitely not on him.
Well, ooh, their attorneys took a lot of umbrage of that to that, when they were in court this last time arguing for another bail reduction, that that is irrelevant, and, they had a lot to say about how they had no right to say anything about that or investigate that, and that's just an attempt to, cause division amongst the, 2, defendants, and I think the
Are
judge at
you
this point is
freaking
like,
kidding me?
"Shut up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of this is relevant because this comes down to parents who did not give a shit about their
Mhm,
child and were not protecting the rest of the community
mhm.
from their child.
Yep.
So, another thing that did just happen is that Ethan's attorney waived his right to a preliminary hearing.
Mhm,
Now, a preliminary hearing is a hearing that's held to basically prove to the judge that the prosecution has enough evidence to carry this case over for trial.
yeah,
And basically, his public defender said, "We just concede that there is enough and we don't
yeah,
have to have the trial."
yeah.
And so that means that he has been carried over into district court and is
Mhm,
prepping. They are prepping now for his trial.
mhm,
If there will even be one, I really question if there will actually even be a trial or if there will be a plea going on
mhm.
here. I have real questions now, though. Normally, a 15-year-old kid cannot just be represented by a public defender, but also has to have a parent present for these things.
Right,
And his parents are in jail and basically charged with the same crimes he's charged with.
right.
I
So
don't
I'm assuming
know.
then, will they consider him like a ward of the state and award him a guardian or
Maybe
something like
he may
that?
need to have a guardian ad litem. I know that
Yeah.
they have charged him as an adult,
Mhm.
but he's not actually an
He's
adult
not
for
an adult.
representation purposes and for, like, taking a plea. I don't
Right.
think he can take a plea without a guardian also saying okay to that.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have real questions about this because this is such an unusual situation
It is.
where his parents are in jail and are charged with the same crime that he is or,
Yeah,
or with
yeah.
basically
In the same
participation
crime. Yeah,
in his crimes, and so very curious about how this is gonna go. I really
yeah.
doubt he'll go to trial.
No.
I think his public defender will try to get a deal for him, probably I would
Mhm,
imagine try to get a deal for him that gets him out by the time he's 21. We'll see. I don't know if they'll go for it, but I do
mhm,
wonder if that's what they're gonna try and shoot for.
mhm,
And the Crumleys continue to just sit their useless waste of
mhm,
skin asses in
mhm.
jail
Me
because the
too.
judge is like, "I'm not
No,
lowering your bond.
no,
You
no.
ran once, we're not gonna let you do it again."
And the arguments from their attorneys are so flat. They have no good argument for it whatsoever.
No, other than, "We just don't wanna be in jail, Your Honor."
Oh, they were such brats in court. Oh my
They
god.
were terrible.
They were rude. They kept shaking their heads, and she rolled her eyes at one point at some evidence that was, allayed. They are such jerks.
So disrespectful and,
Mhm,
like, I still don't think that they're quite taking this seriously.
mhm. Agreed.
And they are each charged with 4 counts of
Mhm.
involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah.
Like, this is not going away.
No,
The judge is not going to let it go away, and the prosecutor is definitely not
definitely.
going to let it go away.
No.
So
One of the other things we learned is that the very day that Ethan shot up the school, they drained Ethan's bank account.
Oh, yeah,
That day.
that day. Well, because that's when they ran.
Mhm,
That's when they ran. That's when,
mhm,
his mother texted a friend after the shooting and said,
mhm.
Ethan has sealed his fate. I have to take care of me now." I
Yep.
mean, oh, okay. Well, obviously, you've been a high quality mother
Mhm,
and a high quality father this
mhm,
whole time. These useless people. Oh my god.
mhm.
I cannot I mean, he's just been completely abandoned.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't even know for quite a while there that they were in jail.
The same jail as him.
Yeah, and they
They
were
were
keeping
all
him
under the
separate.
same roof, and he didn't know.
He
Yeah.
didn't know. His attorney had to tell him.
Mhm.
It's just
His attorney,
unbelievable.
by the way, is so sweet
Yeah.
and kind, and say what you will about Ethan, I know he shot up a school, and I don't have any real sympathy for any of that.
Oh, he murdered 4
He
kids. God.
murdered 4 kids, but I feel very sorry for Ethan in the sense that Ethan needed help that he didn't get. Ethan obviously is in the middle of a mental health crisis.
Right.
Ethan has parents who have not taken care of him, and I'm glad that he has an attorney that's kind. You know, I
I
do.
am too,
I do.
and because this is obviously I mean, it's just their behavior since the incident has shown you exactly
Mhm.
what kind of parents they are. They don't
Mhm.
give a shit about this kid.
No, they don't.
They could not care less about what's going on with him.
No. Nope.
Ugh. Anyway, so that was the update that we wanted to share
Yeah.
about the Crumleys, and we will continue to follow this case and let you know. And one of
Yep.
the reasons that we are following it is this is a landmark case because these parents have been charged for their involvement
Mhm.
because they provided the gun, they ignored sign after sign after sign of the mental health and destabilization of their son.
Mhm.
This is a big deal because
Well,
for a
we've
long
never
time
seen it before.
no, we've never seen it before, and this has been a question for a long time. When a minor shoots people at their school, what happens to the people that provided that weapon?
Well, 99.999% of the time, not a damn
Nothing.
thing.
Right.
Yep.
So, it is good, I think, that's one reason why we wanted to follow this particular school shooting is that we're seeing some consequences for the
Mhm.
adults in this situation, and that's very
Right.
important. So, we'll continue to, share that with you.
Yeah, definitely.
And now for our final segment, let's hear about some creepy crime.
All right. Well, for our creepy crime segment today, this isn't a crime against people, but it is a crime against dogs, which I think makes it even worse.
Worse. Oh my god.
But there's no criminal. Let me tell
What?
you. I'll tell you all about it. Have you ever heard of the Overtoun Bridge in Scotland?
No, I have not, although it's very beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is a walk path that a lot of people walk their dogs and their families down this over this bridge, down this path. It is a medieval bridge that there's not water below. There are jagged rocks well below and brush.
Ooh.
And for some reason, locals call this the dog suicide bridge because for some reason, dogs get on this bridge and go crazy and act completely berserk and throw themselves off the side of the bridge.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why?
Locals say that since the 1950s that they believe that 300 dogs have thrown themselves off the side of the bridge. There are even instances of dogs throwing themselves off the bridge, not dying, and coming back up to the top and jumping again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell? Okay, animal communicator, what is going on?
Right? So there's been a bunch of there's been at least 50 dogs that have died, and
Oh,
hundreds that have jumped and been injured. But there's been a bunch of studying to investigate this and figure it out. Is it possible that they are smelling something, an animal or something? It's usually in the same
Or a
spot and it's usually
sound?
on sunny, dry days. So, is there a small animal that they're smelling right in that spot that they've got to get to? Is there a sound
That's
that
what I keep
only
thinking. Is there a super high pitched sound that
if
upsets
there
them?
is, they haven't been able to pick up on it even with equipment?
Mm,
Or is it haunted? That's the going
right.
theory with the locals is that there is some kind of spirit or poltergeist that is luring dogs off of the bridge.
Well, we need to work on this.
Right.
We
Really
need to clear
interesting,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Really interesting. So it's just well known in that town. If you're going over that bridge, you better have your dog secured because lots of people's dogs have gone over. Just one lady particularly was, I read an interview with her and her border collie. She said they were just walking across the bridge and her dog just went nuts, just not acting like itself at all. She said just a really weird energy came over that dog and she just ran at the side of the bridge and just flew over it.
Oh
No
my god.
hesitation, nothing, like, just went for
Just
it,
went for it. Oh my
and she was
gosh.
so scared to even look over the edge because she figured she'd be dead, and she wasn't. She was injured, but she actually lived through it, but a lot of dogs don't, or they get, like, seriously, seriously hurt. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
I don't know. I just still keep hearing a sound.
See, I wondered about that too because I was thinking about the Golden Gate Bridge, because the Golden Gate Bridge was just reworked here, like, a year ago or so, and now when the wind blows hard, it makes a horrific sound
Right.
that is bothering people for miles. It's awful. And I was thinking about this, except for that they said that it usually is on dry, warm, sunny days,
Yeah.
not necessarily windy days or a day that what sound? But they brought in equipment to try to hear a sound and they can't hear it. They're not picking up anything.
Hmm.
I mean, is it possible that it's just so high pitched that no one's hearing it besides dogs? Maybe. But you would think that their special equipment would hear
Would pick
something.
something like that up, even if it's
Mhm,
outside of human hearing
mhm.
range. Wow. Yikes. I hate this.
I'm on the haunted train. I am.
Are you? You're on
I
the
am.
haunted train. What do you
I
think it
am.
is?
I don't know. I think there's something there though that is, overcoming dogs and convincing them to jump. I do.
Well, I think we need to promise a follow-up on this, and we need to work on it together and figure out what it is and see if we can clear it.
Why don't we do that for
Considering
Patreon?
that's a good idea, we'll do it for Patreon. Because you guys, we've cleared all kinds of weird places and
Mhm,
weird stuff,
mhm.
and I'm thinking we could clear it so that no more dogs have to die because that's
Yeah,
really awful.
horrifying. Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah. So there you have it. That is some truly creepy crime.
Yes, it is. Wow. All right. Well, watch for that coming up on Patreon
Yeah.
here this month of January. We're going to do a special show where we're going to work it out. We will just do a show where we talk about it. We're going to figure out what's going on with it. We're going to take care of it so that it doesn't happen anymore. Because that's what needs to happen with places like this. They need
Yeah,
cleared.
they need cleaned up.
They do, definitely. So, all right. Well, it is our Wednesday case.
Yeah.
We will be back tonight with the Wednesday night case update. We have all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff to
Oh,
share with
boy.
that. So much.
Mhm,
Some of it awesome, some of it, ooh, you're going to be so pissed. Anyway,
mhm. Opposite of awesome? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
We'll also be back tomorrow, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Mountain for the Psychic Hour. And of course, Wednesday night case updates and the Psychic Hour are both live streamed on YouTube and Facebook. And if you can't join us live, then of course we put them up on the podcast and everything's available after the fact as well.
mhm.
So do your thing, which is to like, subscribe, share, comment, spread us out there as far into the world as you can. We have
Mhm.
grown so much in the last 2 years, and we just started season 3. But hey, if somebody might be interested in what we do, please share us with them. It's always
Please.
much appreciated. Yeah.
Very much.
Well, you know it. We are True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Thanks for being here.
Take care.